We are back. So, hi. We have Robert, art director of ROCK GALACTIC here.
Yes. And we have Mikkel, the game director.
Thanks.
And we're here to answer 20 questions, I guess.
Yeah.
More questions.
So, we have, yesterday, we asked you to ask us some questions, and we gathered a list of those, and we'll try to go through them now, and take turns reading a question, then we'll try to answer as good as we can.
Yes.
Try to keep it very vaguely.
Yeah.
No. We'll try to answer as good as we can.
Nice and cozy without really saying anything at all. No,
Yeah.
it'll be fine. Let's
So
start.
first question.
Yes, let's start off here with a question from Sawyer. Apologies in advance if this is completely wrongly pronounced, but Sawyer Lasnicek from Twitter, who asks, first off, I'm an Xbox player. I got the game long before 1 million units sold and 1 year anniversary.
Good.
When
Early adapter.
Yes. When, how do I get the special supporter, weapon skins, etc., and content? And that's on Xbox.
Yeah, that's on Xbox. So we haven't been able to bring it to Xbox yet.
No. We definitely want to.
We definitely want to. We've been getting this question a lot. And of course, we're super happy that there's a lot of players out there that really want to support us. But it has been a technical challenge for us. It will happen at some point.
Yeah.
I think that's the short answer. Right now, I can't promise when it will happen. So
yeah, that's pretty much all we can say at this point. I mean,
yeah,
we want to do it, but it'll be a while.
Yeah, and as you can see, we have it on Steam, so it is. Yeah, we have made all the content is basically just a technical hurdle for us. All right, and then we'll take question number 2.
Yes.
It's from Dandy Ass.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah, welcome to the internet. So the question sounds like this: there have been references to pointy-eared leaf lovers, which I assume are elves. Are there other fantasy creatures in this universe, and if so, will any of them be making appearances in this game beyond references?
Well, I mean, at this point, I mean, there's nothing in the plans at this point. We are working towards getting a lore terminal and stuff like that into the game, but like the key point of it is that as much as possible we want to keep the lore light touch, so to speak. I mean,
yeah, and
but
also I think it's a very good question because it's something me and Robert have been spending a lot of time discussing.
Oh yes.
And I think that we have this take on dwarves, which is that they are in space, and that's not a common place for dwarves to be, because normally you see them in fantasy settings, and we really want to make our own rules for it. And I think the thing we have been talking about is that the dwarves are aware of the dwarf classic lore, but that doesn't mean that it exists in their world. Maybe it existed very long time ago.
Exactly.
So they are aware of this thing, but is it real or not?
Yeah, exactly, and that also means that we are free to interpret that as we want to for our universe. So are there elves, are there orcs, are there goblins, whatever? Maybe somewhere that's not answered right now, but for now we are fighting alien monsters rather than trolls and wolves and stuff like that. Right now we are in space opera land, and it's possible there are other fantasy tropes in there. We are referencing some of them here and there, but nothing concrete at this point, at least.
But we have a question for you, because who are behind management?
Exactly. I mean, who are these mysterious overlords? But yeah,
we never know. Or maybe we'll know.
Maybe we'll know.
Maybe we won't.
But yeah.
But
who are you working for, dear dwarves? Maybe that's the best way to end that question.
I think so. Let's move on.
Yes.
Question number 3.
Question number 3 is from Mikey Norman, also from Twitter, and he says, "Congrats, guys! Would it be possible to do a search and rescue mission where we have to save an objective and then escort it without letting it die? Escorting AI can be annoying, but I think it would be cool if it was a Betsy or something."
Yeah. I think the answer to that is that everything is possible. I think it's maybe not the mission type that we're going to do next.
No.
But it is it's something that could happen. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not off the table, but yeah, we have some pretty specific things that we really want to get our fingers into for the next couple of mission types that we've been sort of brewing on for a long time, and just we want those in the game first, at least.
And I think right now you have some cooler suggestions, but you could also argue that maybe salvage. You are saving 3 small cute mini mules there,
Mini
repairing
mules
them.
have rights too, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But of course they don't have health, and you don't have to protect them after you have assembled them and rebuilt them. All right, question number 4. It's from Gamers of Games, and the question is, will there be a mission type rescue Karl? Also happy 1-year anniversary.
First of all, thank you very much. Second of all, do you really think Karl needs rescuing? He doesn't sound like that kind of dwarf to me.
He's a myth. He's a legend.
Yes, Karl is a myth and a legend, and the more he stays a myth, I would say, the better. Because, yeah, Karl is something we put in the game, and he's more or less grown to what he is today because of you guys. So pretty much, I mean, depends on what happens, I guess. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't think you'll ever be going in to rescue Karl. If anything, he'll be rescuing you, I would say.
The short of it is that we have some ideas, and we'll not share them with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Open development, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here.
Okay. Was that me now?
I think so. Yeah, you asked me about rescuing Karl.
So you read the words.
Yes. Okay. So, Arctic Echo, also from Twitter, asks, "Awesome. Will there be an endless mode at some point? Not necessarily in the near future."
So, endless mode is something we actually have had some prototyping on, and it is not an easy thing to do, I think.
No.
So, well, I think it is something we maybe want to do at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
there are some cool features in it, and there are some cool experiences in it. We are on the roadmap. We have something that's called daily adventures. Maybe it's not daily, but that's just how it ended up being called.
That's the internal name for it right now.
So, but these adventures, anyways, is maybe a little bit in that direction, and we're gonna do that first, and then we'll see with an endless mode.
Yeah.
But it is something we could easily see end up in the game, and an endless mode is what I mean.
It fits the narrative fairly well. We just have some significant technical hurdles to get through before we can make a true endless mode. But who knows? Maybe the daily adventures will sort of work as a nice prototyping tool for that.
Yeah, it also depends on what is an endless adventure. That's a very endless mission, endless mode. It is a very broad thing.
Yes.
Right? All right. Next question is from Chilnaga. Congratulations on 365 days of hard rock mining action, peeps. Will there potentially be any collation of global stats for this year? Total missions, wipes, X mines, decades of playtime between all players, etc.
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's something that was brought up recently in here, actually, because we've seen other games do this, where we just get this nice big chart of, okay, this many miners, all of you mined this many tons of gold during the year, that kind of thing. And I think we are gearing up towards doing that. We have the data. We pretty much just need to do it well and figure out exactly how we're going to use it, because it's not unthinkable also that we could use it for something more than just showing it off. I mean, so some design discussion on that, primarily led by this guy here. And then
but I think it is again. I think it's a very good idea, and it's something we definitely want to look into. I think it is something that again will bring community together, and give something like, I mean, basically this could eventually evolve into having sort of like community goals within the game, which I think could be really cool.
Yeah, not that that's the question, but that's also something we've been discussing, that since we can't really do things like leaderboards and stuff like that right now, having some kind of more co-op community goals for every one of you could potentially be really, really cool if we do it right.
Yeah, definitely.
So
next question, you can take that.
Yeah, Afroflower asks, question, will we see more jukebox options? More songs, name the songs, pay more for a specific song instead of randomized?
It's not something okay, let me say it this way. The jukebox is very basic, and it is actually something I did. And my skills are not that great, so it was just a simple thing I was spending some extra time I had on. And I know Robert really want to pimp it and make the jukebox look more sexy, and when we do that we would probably also look at the whole UI interface on it.
Yeah.
I must say though that I really like that you go up and buy a song and you get a random song, because that actually makes you go to different songs and you just get different moods out of the different tracks and so on.
And also just that it's not a majorly involved thing. You walk up to it, you press a button, boom, that's it. I mean, there are plenty of options, but we'll look into it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can even have both, like just press random or go through a list, who knows.
But the short of it is that a couple of updates ago I actually added more tracks to the jukebox. So yes, I mean, I think that is a testimony to that we are actually doing stuff on the jukebox.
Yeah, especially because like it's again one of those things, we put it in for fun. Yeah, that's a little detail, and then you guys seem to really, really like it. So it's what else can we do?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll definitely be returning to the jukebox and doing things to it.
Yes. All right. Next question. It's from Jesscar1. From the initial ideas of the game at the start, what has changed drastically because of player feedback? And what are some of things that could have been but changed last minute to what it is now? Now could have been. Okay.
That's a hard question.
Actually, it's actually harder than I would have imagined.
Because I mean, so much of the player feedback we're getting from you guys tends to be us sort of just nodding and saying, yes, what you're asking for is already in the plan, more or less. I mean, sure, we're also getting requests for things that are way beside the game, but mostly it's more like the feedback from you guys is more like it's just reinforcement that, okay, what we're planning is the right thing, really.
I think
and that's not to sound pompous or anything.
No, but I think it is also important to, I mean, the way we work here at Ghost Ship Games, we don't really plan in details very far ahead. No. And that is very nice because it actually lets us adapt to whatever the game needs at any given situation. And in that regard, of course, we are also very, what can you say? You guys can affect us in the sense that we actually see what you are writing and what you're talking about, and we also avid player of the game ourselves, so we also have a very good feeling of what the game needs at any given state. So I think it's more like a back and forth between us and you guys. I think
and that happens on a daily basis.
Yeah,
so it's not really some kind of major change. It's more just gradual all the time, because we're checking Reddit, we're checking Facebook, we're checking Steam and Discord and all those nice channels every day, and just sort of tweaking where needed.
Yeah.
Where we feel is needed anyway.
So that was not really answering the question directly, because Jesscar1 was asking for a specific thing that we had not made if the community had not suggested it.
But honestly, nothing really springs to mind.
I think again, it's like I think the concept of the ROCK GALACTIC is it's so open. It's so easy to get ideas for what can happen in the game.
Yeah.
and how could this game develop.
We've seen that on Reddit and
so
Steam too.
I think both us and you have so many ideas for the direction that the game could go in, and for features for the game. So I think it is really hard to see what is what.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, because we work as fluidly as we do, it's just it's a very gradual thing. Maybe the weapon mods was kind of influenced by many players.
We knew we wanted to do that.
But we knew we wanted that from the start.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe we pushed it up a bit because so many people were asking for it.
Yes.
But it was always there.
Yeah.
We just needed to implement it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Move on to the next question.
Yes. Let's see. So, Stoplesses from Reddit asks, in a game where you can manipulate your environment using tools like the platform gun or the digger's drills, I'm wondering if you fellas have any plans to introduce more tools like them for a more varied bug-killing, resource-gathering experience. That's a good way to put the game, actually. So, more power tools? Yes, no?
Yes. I mean, isn't that the answer? I mean, yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we already have some ideas for weapons that could modify the terrain more. I think right now we have the four classes, and we have a fairly delicate balance in the traversal tools the four classes have available to them.
Yes.
So I think it would be if and when we decided that there would be alternative tools for those, like for the drills, for example, or for the platform gun.
Yeah. Which would be a major design task because we'd have to do that for all the classes at the same time, pretty much, to find those synergies, like the platform gun and the zipline. Those two work really well together. What can we sort of replace that with in a way that's still fun in single player as well?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think the short of it is something we are thinking about. Right now, I think that we are introducing mods to the tools helps you a little bit, like you can tweak the tools in a direction you like. Of course, it's not like completely different. The drills are still the drills, right?
No, but it's steps in the right directions. For sure.
All right. Then iPhone asks, are there plans for developing an in-game economy? This game is ripe for something else to do with the minerals credits we collect aside from cosmetics and alcohol.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard topic to ask because it's an ongoing discussion between all of us, because we totally see this, that players get to a point in the game where they're just basically hoarding minerals and credits without that much to spend them on. So for the moment, it's a fairly low percentage of the players that are there, but those that are there are very, very passionate players that mean a lot to us. So it's something we want to do, but it's not necessarily.
No, and I also think it is again. It's not the first thing on the roadmap or on our plans. But I could easily see that we could have I don't know. You could do a small trade with other space rigs or. Where you could maximize the fortune you have gathered. You could invest it maybe in other dwarves mining, or I mean that would be one way.
Or maybe even use it to contribute to those community goals we talked about.
That could be another way.
Or just really, really, really high level unlocks that, this special hat with a propeller that costs 2 million credits. I mean, that's the boring, easy way to do it, but we could totally do something like that also, so there's just something ahead for those really, really passionate players. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go on.
Yes. So the next one is from Buckling Swashes, also from Reddit. The earliest Red Faction games used a similar unlimited destruction feature that allowed players to experiment in combat and make their own paths. Are there any other older games that inspired you as developers when working on DRG?
So, Red Dead Redemption was. We were aware that it was a digging game that you could.
Red Faction.
No, I read. What did I just say? No, Red Faction. But it was not really that game that was our main inspiration for Deep Rock Galactic.
Not for the game, no.
No, that was. I mean, again, the core concept comes from us wanting to do a co-op shooter in the depth of Minecraft caves.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the very earliest talks we had, there was the overall theme was pretty much Left 4 Dead in Minecraft.
Yeah, basically.
Where we had those unpredictable random hordes with some of the exploration and the joy of digging from the Minecraft worlds, right? But in a more arcadey way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we're hitting that pretty well these days.
I think so too. All right. And they were asking if there was other games that we were inspired by. I think I mean, of course, we have been looking at all games where you had a pickaxe and could mine.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's like obviously right. Just like we have been looking at a lot of co-op shooters and co-op games.
And even survival games, even though this is not a survival game in the traditional sense, but there's still some of it. I mean, personally, I'm a big player of 7 Days to Die and Space Engineers. So some of that sort of heavy, clunky mining, crafting kind of thing, I also see some of that in our game now. But I mean, yeah, what are our inspirations? Every game we've ever played, so to speak.
I think co-ops and mining games. I mean, of course, and then just whatever you name.
Of course, yes.
All right. Then Boggling Swashes ask again, how did you come to the decision to make Deep Rock Galactic a class-based game? And were there any specific class ideas or mechanics that you decided against including?
Yeah, I mean, the first part of that is easy to answer, at least, because, I mean, it's class-based, I guess, because we wanted the game to be as co-op as we could.
Yeah.
That the players could really, really interact with each other, and everyone played an important part of the team. No one was dispensable. Everyone.
Exactly. And I think when you are, I think we have succeeded on this thing actually. I think when you are playing and you're playing like 2 persons together, 3 persons together, and the 4th or 3rd person joins you, you actually feel that is a big contribution to the team. And that the traversal and mining and whatever just becomes easier the more different players you are playing together. So the question was also about if there was any class we didn't include in the game.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a dedicated healer. We don't have a dedicated tank as such. I mean, some of that is in there, but I mean, I think I mean, of course, we're inspired by all kinds of classes in other games, but I think our classes are kind of unique.
Yeah. And of course, they are very much also dictated by the traversal tools they have accessible to them. That is very defining for the class.
Absolutely.
But then we have also tried to define the classes, make them even sharper by the selection of weapons that are available to them. So they also both come with a unique traversal tool, but they also come with a unique set of weapons that also dictates a specific play style. So we hopefully can accommodate as many player types as possible. Yeah.
Without really getting into the nitty-gritty of the Holy Trinity and such, as you know it from MMOs. I mean, this is first and foremost a get in there and kick some ass game.
Yeah.
So we don't need healers. We have red sugar and stuff for that. We don't need tanks. Everyone's a tank because we're dwarves. So.
Oh, the scout is not that much.
No, but he's still a powerhouse.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah. If he's played correctly.
If he's played, that goes for all of the classes, I think.
Yes. Well, okay, that's another Buckling Swashes.
There's a lot of questions from him.
Yeah, but that's also some good questions. Anyway, so Buckling Swashes asks again, what kind of challenges have you faced when designing the various aspects of gameplay, traversal, mining, combat, etc., around a procedurally generated mission system? For example, was there ever a stage in development in which a cave was impossible to travel through? Did some of the game's mechanics come about as solutions to those situations?
Okay, that's a good question. Yes, I mean, one of the things that we have been spending a lot of time on is actually nailing the whole way we do procedurally generated caves. And at one point, we tried to do extremely big cave systems.
Yes.
And those were really challenging
Yes.
to play. And that is because the bigger the caves are, the more space there is to place minerals.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, are in a, some of the caves we did were insanely big.
Yeah.
And if you were looking for morkite in there, for example, it's going to be, almost impossible to locate it.
Yeah.
And there's a limit to how fun it is to traverse a vertical wall.
Yeah.
But I still think you can come upon caves within Deep Rock Galactic where you are still gonna have to really, really work for it.
Definitely. But compared to those very, very big caves we had at the beginning, it was like, okay, locating the minerals was hard, but actually getting to them was kind of boring. Because it was basically just, okay, go 100 meters up that wall. That's
There's
not
also
necessarily very fun. So, so the caves were beautiful, but they were kind of rubbish.
Yeah.
There's
also combat was also not that fun in a very large open space because you could basically just either the enemies would have to spawn right where you are standing, or you could see them you could see them in the distance, just shoot them
pretty much
at a distance, and that was not that fun either. But I think we have hit the right balance right now between big caves and small caves, and you can, when you load a mission or set up a mission, you can look at the complexity and the length of the mission. And the higher the complexity, the bigger caves you will actually encounter in a mission, and the much more complicated caves you will encounter. So there's something to look for if you want to go really big and complex caves.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you're asking, then the question is about if it's impossible to travel through. And actually, we have designed the game so it's always possible to get out of a tight situation. You if it gets as worse as it can get, you always have your pickaxe, and the pickaxe can destroy the terrain. You can carve a staircase with the pickaxe. It's gonna of course take you ages to do so, but you can do it.
Yeah.
So there is a way out of any situation. That was a design philosophy we had for all the features, that there should always be hope for the dwarves.
We're making a procedural game here, and those are just kind of unpredictable by nature. So we made it so you can always get out. Maybe it may take some patience, but you can always get out. So even if the cave has like generated in a really weird way, you can get to the objective if you have some patience.
Yeah.
So
All right. Then
last question.
Yes, it's from Satellite Jack, and the question goes: has the idea of armor skins been considered? It'd be nice to have armor and find match. I feel what would also be kinda neat to have supporter gold on all the different armors for the sake of variety.
Yeah, that's another open discussion right now. Right now in the last update, we have just introduced the skins system. We have a system in place now where we can do skins. Right now we're discussing a lot about, okay, now we have skins, what should we use them for? We're doing some pretty cool design discussions right now. We'll have more to say on that soon. But there's nothing in that that specifically says if we want armor skins or not. We need to decide if it's the right fit for the game, because there are some restrictions in the way we do classes. Right now we very much want the scout to always be blue, for instance. And this guy is gray, but you get the idea. The classes should preferably always be recognizable. We're struggling a bit on that, because we are playing a team of 4 little stocky guys. So we want to, as far as possible, maintain those class identities. That's not to say that it's excluding armor skins at all, but we need to do it the right way, if at all. And we need to do some experimenting, we need to do some design discussion on that before we can do it on more things than just the guns.
Yeah.
But I think I can say for certain right now, there will be more skins. We just need to, design it right and get it in. But what's the space for news, I would say.
But it's also like a balance, because we also want to do new armor sets, right?
Also
and that to some degree is much cooler than just changing around the color, though that is also cool. I mean, so
exactly. I mean, we have all options open. We need to decide what fits our vision best for this, and also what supports the gameplay best. Because as cool as it would have to have everyone running around in all black matte stealth armor, that looks cool. Yes, it's not very conducive to the gameplay. So we'll experiment and get back to you.
All right. So that was actually the 20 questions. I think we have time for a couple of bonus questions. Ooh, yeah. So are you ready?
Yes.
Good. What's next for the game? And I think that goes back to maybe the roadmap.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a big question.
It's a big question. There's a lot that is next for the game. But right now we are working on update 23. And 23's main focus will be on making new enemies. We have a couple of new enemies in the pipeline. Today on Twitter we actually shared some small sneak peeks of some of the enemies here. So you should go and check our Twitter account out, and then you can see what's there. We're also working on making more elite or veteran versions of the enemies.
Yes.
That's something that when we in 21 did the whole revamp of the difficulty tweak, we did also redesigned the whole way we spawn enemies and waves and so on. And making more veterans will fit directly into that system.
Yeah, I mean, because basically the new difficulty system we did, it gave us a whole lot more knobs and levers to twist and turn, so we can make much more advanced and satisfying encounters now than we could before. So if we get all these sort of elite or veteran versions of all the enemies, we can make much tighter sort of mixes of these enemies, and it can also help us to get to that sort of point where we have enough enemies that we can start to sort of use them more sparingly in different places. We haven't really been there, but we're getting there now, and that opens a lot of new paths for us, where we can say, okay, in this particular mission or this particular biome, you are more likely to run into these guys. So pack your gear accordingly. I mean, that's also something we really want to emphasize on the players, that your loadout should matter. I mean, of course, the mods and the gears and weapons, they're there for you to sort of pick your preferred playstyle, but it should hopefully in time also reflect what are you going up against. Okay, we're going into this cave that has these specific kinds of enemies. Maybe it's smarter to bring this kind of grenade compared to this kind of grenade. Or maybe the flamethrower is better than the cryo spray in here. That kind of thing. And we have a lot of new options for tweaking that now. Because as we've come to realize, and as a lot of you guys have mentioned on Reddit and Steam and so forth, we can do more with the spawns than we are doing, and we're getting towards that now. And it's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
I can't wait.
But I was talking about the update 23,
Yes.
what's gonna be it, and a lot of new enemies and variations.
Yeah, pretty much.
The other thing is that we are working on finishing up implementing mods for the rest of the tools that is available for the Dwarves. And there are some redesigns that we're doing to some of the tools to actually make more sense with mods. So can't say any more about that, but you will just have to see it in the next update.
And as usual, that'll be put in, and then we'll tweak after that, depending on feedback from you guys and from ourselves. So don't despair if something suddenly doesn't work the way you're used to. That's gonna happen, and it'll end up good, we promise.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. And I think I'll go with this one. What is your favorite thing about working on Deep Rock Galactic?
Oh. that's another one that's hard to answer
because
without sounding kind of like an ass, but it's hard to choose because I mean, in many ways, this is becoming more and more my sort of dream game, and I'm in a position as art director here that I've never been in before, and many of us are, and it's sort of it's our game, it's our company. We are making the decisions. We are the ones listening to you guys and deciding where the game is going. And it's just, it's hard work, but it's a joy coming to work every day. I mean, that's probably that's it. That's my answer. My favorite part of working on this is that coming to work every day is a wonderful challenge that I welcome. So yeah.
I think my favorite part about Deep Rock Galactic is how uncomplicated it is to design, and I mean, to design the features and game mechanics for the game. I mean, I think we have made a game where it's just so easy, and I mean, we have made it very systemic, and it's very easy for us to just add new content and have it work in the game, and it's just. It's just really easy, and not easy, not like that, but it's just uncomplicated.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really just nice.
Yeah. We're never lacking ideas for what to put in. I mean, we've been on several projects that are like a bit foundering, where here everyone is just overflowing with cool ideas, and every one of those ideas is just yes, that would make it a better game. So. I mean, that's also hard because we need to decide which of these many ideas are the ones to go in the game. Because we're also a small team working on limited time, so we need to prioritize.
Yes.
But we're never lacking for good ideas, and that's fantastic motivator.
Talking about prioritizing time,
yes.
I think our time is running out, and we're gonna wrap up this 20 question. Yeah, it was a little bit more than 20 questions, but bonus questions.
But that's fine.
Yes,
that's how we do.
Yeah.
So so thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us through this kind of ranty, self-congratulatory.
We're gonna stop streaming now. We've been streaming for the last 4 hours, and I think now we're gonna go and celebrate our 1 year anniversary, and you can go and celebrate in the space break.
Absolutely.
So cheers.
Yeah.
And
see you guys.
Rock and Stone.
And Rock and Stone.